Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Now, before we get started, if you have a pen and paper handy, please take note of our reservations telephone number. It's just at the bottom of the screen there, along with our website. So the number is 1300 938 534 and the website railbookers.com.au. As you can see here on the screen, don't forget to download your helpful handouts. We have maps there as well as information about our sales and what we're covering off. And if you have any questions during the presentation, pop them into the question box below and I'm going to give you all an answer at the end of the presentation. Of course, time permitting, we'll be here for the next half hour or so. So I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Charlene. I'm one of the business development executives here with Railbookers. And today, as I said, for the next half hour, I'm going to take you through our top rail holidays for 2021, but more specifically, our rail alternatives to cruise holidays. I'd like to give that question box a little bit of a go now, however. I'd love to know what destinations you're currently dreaming about traveling to for your next holiday, whether it be in 2021 or even beyond that. Love to see those answers. Pop them into the question box. Excellent. So I'm seeing a number of mentions here for Australia, which is, of course, no big surprise. We all are looking at our own doorstep and it will be the first thing to open up. When this is all over, hopefully we'll be able to travel again to some great destinations like Queensland, and by all means, stay tuned. We actually have a really great Queensland itinerary that you can have a look at. Wow, Charles, Trans-Siberian. You know what? I absolutely have that on my bucket list too. It is something I have been wanting to do for a long, long time. And I think with this lockdown, even more so now. When you can't travel, you want it even more. I'm also seeing a little bit of Canada here and New Zealand, and that's fantastic. We cover all those destinations too. So certainly, if it's not covered here today, stay tuned because later in the month, we are going to be covering off some of those wonderful destinations for you. But today, what I really want to home in on is why rail travel is the perfect alternative for a cruise holiday. And I hope to get you thinking about how you can do the places that you normally love to cruise through, but can be enjoyed just as much, if not more, by land, and really discover how you can utilize the rail system to mirror those. Now, who are we? We are the Yankee Leisure Group family of brands. We're best known by our brands though. Firstly, we've got our Railbookers brand today, and that covers off Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and beyond. We also have our Amtrak Vacations brand that's focused on the USA. So we really do sell the world when it comes to rail vacations. Now, one of the biggest benefits to Railbookers is that we actually have the ability to secure your rail 24 months in advance, just as you would come to expect from the likes of cruises and coach tours that you might have done in the past. So you can use our services to get you to some amazing bucket list destinations, all with the freedom and flexibility to book when and where you want to go. You're not going to be locked into any specific dates or itineraries. We can customize all the arrangements for you. Now, when you give us a call, we're going to have an average hold time of 3 seconds, and you're going to get through to our rail expert team who are able to provide you with an instant quote. All our quotes are in Aussie dollars. So once you deposit $250 per person, your cost is secured and the full payment's due, usually only 60 or 90 days out prior to your departure date. So if you're looking for 2021, you've got a little bit of time to pay it off. You certainly can pay it off month by month, week by week, however you like. And when you do travel with us here, you also have the assurity that you're going to have 24-hour support from our team. We have offices across the globe, including here in Sydney, as well as 2 in the US, 1 in Canada, and 1 in the UK. So every time zone is covered to answer your call. Now, Railbookers is a one-stop shop booking experience for you. Like any vacation package you may have booked in the past, our packages actually include everything from the rail transport, the hotel accommodations, the sightseeing tours, transfers, and more. We can tailor make it all for you here. So if you see something that is similar to what you want, rest assured, we can amend it as necessary. We're happy to add on any destination. We can adjust an itinerary to make it a round trip. We can book a trip in reverse, as well as look at alternative hotels to suit your needs and budget, because we have 3, 4, and 5-star hotels all on our books. Now, why take the train over a cruise? Well, rail can actually get you around to places that are simply inaccessible by cruise, and sometimes even by road. So you're going to be able to create your own schedule as opposed to following a group tour set itinerary. You're going to be able to travel independently, and that means you can choose your own pace as well as the destination and the budget. Now, right now, the idea of having a holiday and a mode of transport that doesn't have crowds on board can also be very appealing. I love the idea that you're going to be able to sit through there. You can look at the scenery out the beautiful window, maybe have a glass of wine and a meal, as you can see here on this right-hand picture, while you travel through something like the Alps in Switzerland. Now, how are rail operators maintaining a safe environment? Well, as you would come to expect, they have adjusted for the current conditions. So what they've done is enhance their cleaning protocols. All the equipment and the trains are sanitised frequently. They've gone cashless and contactless in many occasions. That's to limit the opportunity for any spread. So in the case of some of the European trains, they've stopped the sale of food and drink on board, just the day trains temporarily. Also, you're going to notice that they've adjusted the seat configurations, and that's ensuring the social distancing. So a lot of the trains that are operating are only operating at 50% capacity to do so. So what you're going to see on board is more space. There's social distancing reminders there as well, and the face masks that are being used at the stations and on the transport. Let's kick into some great rail itineraries. And I know that's what you're here for. We'll kick off with something close to home. So we've got our Spirit of Queensland train. This actually operates from Brisbane to Cairns. It operates 5 times a week, and it redefines that modern rail travel experience. It's a very comfortable, convenient way to access some spectacular holiday destinations. Things like the Great Barrier Reef, the Whitsundays, you've got Townsville and Cairns, and everywhere in between. It's very contemporary and comfortable, and it's designed for relaxation. So as you can see here, these are actually the premium sets that we use on our itineraries, and it's very similar to like a business class pod on a flight. You're going to get your seat back televisions, there's really wide seating there, lots of space. And it is an overnight train. It's actually the overnight train that I'm covering off today, I should say, and it goes into a lie flat bed. So you actually spend overnight on the train. It is really quite comfortable and luxurious, and you get your amenities there, as well as meals included on board when you're travelling on the Spirit of Queensland with us. So you really are going to be relaxed from the moment you step on board to the time you arrive into your destination. Now we have 3 package options utilising the service on the Spirit of Queensland, but I'm just going to highlight one of those today for you. It is the Queensland Adventure 11 days. So it travels from Sydney up via Brisbane to Cairns and Port Douglas. It's a really luxurious way to enjoy the very best of the far north of Queensland. It has some great inclusions as well. So in Brisbane, you've got the sparkling River City. It is the capital of Queensland, and it is an incredible subtropical climate. So you'll be able to enjoy the quaint weekend markets there. You can have the vibrant art scene at your fingertips, and you're going to spend one night in each direction when you're travelling on this itinerary. So whilst there, you can travel and check out the beautiful botanical gardens, as you can see here. You can visit the banks of the Brisbane River, which actually has its own man-made beach. So heading into summer, I think I'd love to get there and cool off. And there's also an observation deck above, offering panoramic views of Brisbane and the surrounding Moreton Bay. And if you want to check out one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, the Great Barrier Reef, and you want to tick that off your bucket list, well, then you need to go to Cairns. So this is the next port on our travels. It has a tropical climate with azure beaches. It's got the rich Aboriginal history, the lush rainforest nearby, and there's no shortage of stunning photo opportunities awaiting you. You can see all of that here. So what we've done is included a total of 3-night stay on the Queensland Adventure itinerary. Then you're going to be heading even further north, where you're going to have a real resort holiday vibe. You've got 2 nights in beautiful Port Douglas. So with the location along the Queensland and Coral Coast, Port Douglas really is that ideal base for exploring the likes of the Daintree National Park, and that's the home to the world's oldest rainforest. And this itinerary actually covers a trifecta of experiences. So from Cairns, what you're going to do is get to experience Kuranda Railway and Skyrail Rainforest Cableway. So it's the scenic train up to Barron National Park. It is a real must-do of the area. And then you're going to enjoy the Skyrail back, travelling high above the rainforest canopy. And on this day, you're going to enjoy the village there. It's got wildlife. It's got a butterfly sanctuary. You're going to see waterfalls. You can do bushwalks, or you can visit Jabberkai, which you can actually witness Indigenous performances there. Then from Port Douglas, you're going to have a full day out cruising the very best part of the Great Barrier Reef. So here you're going to take in all the colourful sea life. You can go snorkeling. You can even take the helicopter ride and see it all from up above. And then finally, to cap off your stay, you're going to have a half-day adventure, learning about the traditional life on the land with a walkabout around Mossman Gorge. So that's up near Daintree, and you're going to have a half day there before you can head back to Port Douglas for more relaxing in the afternoon and maybe do a little bit of shopping or enjoy some of the spectacular seafood that you can get there. Now, for an itinerary that I am very familiar with, and it is a region that I consider my second home. I actually lived in Latvia for 6 months. This is the Highlights of Scandinavia in the Baltics 12-day itinerary. So a little bit different to what you may have seen before, but it gets you thinking. You're going to experience the allure of Copenhagen. You've got the medieval streets there, the vibrant promenades, also of Stockholm. You're going to travel overnight by ferry, so you still get to do a little bit by the Baltic Sea over to Latvia's capital city of Riga. You've also got Tallinn, which is the capital city of Estonia. It's perfectly preserved medieval wall there. There's watchtowers and there's cobbled streets. It is spectacular. And then you're going to explore the top attractions and museums of Helsinki, the capital of Finland. So this is a really exciting trip. It is the best way to see all the major sites as well as to get to know the hidden corners of these beautiful cities. Now, whilst the waters of the Baltic Sea are beautiful to cruise, this itinerary really is designed to see so much of the unique and vibrant history of the area. We've included a number of tours to ensure that you can really absorb and enjoy this. So we've got a Copenhagen card that's going to allow you to visit any number of 86 attractions and museums across the city, as well as access the public transport to get you there. In Riga, you're going to have a walking tour, so you can witness the beautiful Art Deco architecture there, or perhaps you can visit Europe's largest market housed in 5 Zeppelin hangars, so it is quite unique. You've also got a hop-on, hop-off tour of Tallinn in Estonia. Now you're going to enjoy the amazing medieval walled city there. And there's also a Helsinki card, which I would highly recommend using to do the hop-on, hop-off bus there. You can cruise over to Seminlina Sea Fortress. Now that's in the heart of the harbour, but you can also do a cruise along the beautiful canals. So you'll get to see all the rich architecture. It's actually featured in the top left-hand corner. You've got the square, that's the harbour, and also there's a really good fish market along that harbour that I highly recommend visiting for a great lunch out. Now, skipping over to Central Europe, for those of you that are looking at river cruising alternatives, we can definitely offer that for you. We've got the Grand European Tour of 12 days, and it takes you to some of Europe's most popular cities. So you start off in Berlin, Germany. You're going to head over to Amsterdam, Paris, Geneva, Venice, and Rome. And it's all staying in quality central city locations in the accommodations there. You're going to catch the high-speed, comfortable, and reliable trains between all the destinations. And that's going to ensure that you can fit in as much adventure, excitement, and sightseeing as you can. So what you're going to do, you're going to be able to explore the romantic French capital, Paris. We've got an attractions pass there with a skip the line entry to the Eiffel Tower. So that's really important. You're going to be able to save a lot of time there doing that. You're also going to have a skip the line pass to discover the artistic wonders of the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. You're going to travel through the majestic Swiss Alps to the wonders of Venice, where you're going to be able to relax with a gondola ride, as well as discover the imperial city of Rome with tours of both the Colosseum and the Vatican Museum. And for those of you that like to focus on the riverside towns, really enjoy the history and also great wine, we have the Rhine and Moselle 7-day itinerary. So this will give you the opportunity to discover some idyllic scenery along the banks of these rivers. It's heading into Koblenz in Germany, which is close to Cologne. So definitely hop into there. You're going to see the magnificent cathedral. And then you're going to continue on to Luxembourg City. Now, it has a stop in the ancient city of Trier, and you'll spend 3 nights there relaxing and enjoying the sights of this tiny province, as well as nearby Belgium and France. So once again, you're going to be staying in quality central accommodation, and the itinerary really is at that leisurely pace. It really gives you that ample opportunity to explore. But we have included a few things. There's a sightseeing cruise on the Rhine. There's a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Luxembourg, because you can see the whole of the country of Luxembourg in just a day, actually. And there's also picturesque scenery throughout there to enjoy. So with the location, I'd really highly recommend you get out there, enjoy the nearby towns across those borders, and taste not only the delicious wines of the region, but also sample the Michelin-starred restaurants that are there as well. For those of you that love the sun and crave the blue waters of the Mediterranean coastline, we have our 12-day itinerary that goes to Lake Bled and Croatia. It is a stunner. So you're going to experience centuries-old traditions and not to be missed attractions. In Munich, in the heart of Bavaria there, you're going to travel to the storybook setting of Lake Bled and then venture into breathtaking Croatia. So the Dalmatian coast, as you can see on the Adriatic Sea, you've got the beauty of both Split and Dubrovnik, and also you've got the Slovenian city of Ljubljana that you're going to go through, and Croatia's capital of Zagreb. Both have many museums and parks that you can wander through. Now, this itinerary will include a skip the line tour of Bled Castle. I don't have a picture of it here, but it is, if you've ever seen it, this big blue lake with this little island and a spire coming from it, that's Bled Castle, and you're going to reach there by scenic cruise. We've also included city tours of Zagreb, Split, Dubrovnik Old Town and the city walls, and a cable car ride up the mountains of Dubrovnik. So you're going to get those stunning views across the castle ruins and the harbour. And these are all truly magical destinations, as you can see by the images we've included. Now, over the other side of the Mediterranean, we offer the West Mediterranean rail journey of 12 days, and this is taking in the historic gems of Italy, France, and Spain. You're going to begin in Rome, land of the gladiators. You relish there in the city's rich history that's proudly on display. You then journey by train up to Italy's sparkling north coast, and you'll spend 2 nights there relaxing in the seaside Sestra Levante, which is the perfect base to discover the charming and colourful villages of the Cinque Terre. And then it's on to the south of France, where you get the sun-soaked days in glamorous Nice, Cairns and Marseille. And then finally you take a scenic train over to Barcelona, the land of tapas and flamenco and fun. You're going to complete your journey though in Spain with 2 more nights in historic Seville and also vibrant Madrid. Now, once again, you can take your time enjoying the sights with our inclusions on the package. We have included a Cinque Terre card, so you can use all the local trains and shuttles between the quaint Italian villages on that north coast area there. You're also going to get a skip the line Colosseum and Roman Forum tour in Rome, which is an absolute lifesaver for your holiday time. But of course, get out there and explore. We also, over across into France and Spain, we have a 3-hour tour of Nice and a small group tour of Cairns and the nearby waterside towns. You've got a 24-hour hop-on, hop-off pass in Seville, a tour of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, which you can see in the top right-hand corner here, and my favourite, which is the secret food tour in Madrid. Love a little bit of cuisine, and Spain is famous for it. Now, of course, these itineraries are just the very tip of the iceberg about what we have to offer. So in Europe, you can focus on the southern part of France with its wineries there in Avignon, and you can enjoy also a highlights of Alaska tour with Alaska Railroad 7-day itinerary, and it takes in the beauty of Denali National Park at your own pace. So quite a few places to think of. And in addition to that, we have 2 other popular locations that I'll let you know about. We're getting inquiry for both of them, Portugal and Norway. So you can visit the wonders of Porto, Cumbria and also Lisbon over 8 days and sample the magnificent architecture and amazing seafood. And in Norway, we have a 9-day essentials fjord and Norwegian coast itinerary, and that takes you on a stunning cog railway up through the mountains and also cruising along tiny fjord passes and exploring the wild Viking history of Norway. So lots to think about. Now, right now we have some great limited time special offers. They are going to save you up to $500 off per couple. So we're focused mainly on Australia right now because that's what we can do as soon as possible. Queensland Adventure that I featured today is attracting that $500 per couple. We also have the Ghan and the Indian Pacific $400 off per couple. For the rest of our itineraries, we have some actual stopovers in some of the cities in Australia, so you can save $300 per couple on those as well. But of course, you can give us a call. We do have other sales that we like to take advantage of. We just haven't advertised them here today. So give us a call on 1300 938 534 and we'll be able to help you out, or you can visit the railbookers.com.au website. And we have our specials listed there as well. Now, if you are concerned about locking any bookings in now, Railbookers has actually put in place a maximum flexibility offer. So any new and existing reservations can change travel dates or cancel up to 5 days prior to departure without any fees involved. Now, we've just extended this out. It is in place until the end of the year, so 31st of December 2020. And of course, we'll keep assessing that, but we right now offer you peace of mind about any future travel you may wish to book. Now, as you would no doubt have gathered, I am very passionate about my rail travel, but you don't need to take just my word for it. Railbookers has actually been awarded as Rail Operator of the Year in 2019 by our own trade, and it's been covered in the likes of Lonely Planet and Forbes. I did promise that I would announce some of the other itineraries and webinars that we are coming up with over the next few weeks. So next week, we're going to be covering off some iconic rail journeys across the world. And the week after that, the 15th of September, we'll be looking at close to home, Australia and New Zealand. So if you are thinking about Australia and New Zealand, like you mentioned earlier today, definitely tune in for that one. And you'll be able to explore some of the things like the Ghan and the Indian Pacific that we offer as well. I am going to open it up for questions, however. I know that everyone's itching to get some of those tips and some suggestions about where they can go. Put those in, as well as any questions on the itineraries we featured here today, just into the question box. I'm looking forward to answering those for you. Now I have a question here from Barbara, and she's just asking about disabilities and the appropriateness of these itineraries. All of these itineraries are absolutely appropriate for the disabilities. Now, with some of the tours you may find, particularly when I think of Rome and the cobblestones as well, it can be a little bit tricky, but on the trains themselves and the accommodation absolutely can be catered for with the disabilities. So there are disability wheelchair sections on the trains throughout Europe and also here in Australia, as well as accommodation, hotel rooms. We can get accessible rooms for you too. I can see that Madeline has asked about the comfort on board the trains in Europe. That's a great question. Well, all of the trains in Europe are very clean, they're comfortable, they're usually very prompt as well. You're talking about places like Switzerland where they're absolutely down to the second. The comfort on board though, these chairs are very comfortable. Most of the travel that you're going to do is actually only a few hours. That's the beauty of Europe. You could be on a train for 3 hours and be in a completely different country, and you'll be definitely travelling in comfort all the way through that. And you would have seen our Queensland train in particular. The Spirit of Queensland with that business class type pod that they use on the trains, again, is very comfortable indeed. So I highly recommend going by rail. It's going to get you to those places, as I said, that sometimes are inaccessible by cruise and also sometimes even by road. When you think of places like Alaska, for instance, I mentioned that the Alaska Railroad and Denali National Park, you can't reach that by cruise. And then even if you are going to take a cruise in the future, rail is a great way to get away from those port cities as well. So some really good questions there, very useful. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. Okay, so certainly if there's anything you need to know, get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to help. But I will leave you with this. When it comes to Railbookers, 2 days to 2 years, that's the long and short of our booking period. You can actually book as far in advance as 24 months and just as soon as 2 days before departure. And we have all the prices and schedules ready for you right now. Now, if you aren't ready to book, that's okay as well. We are happy to take your calls when you're ready, even if it's just to ask questions or to save a quote for later. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me here today, and I really appreciate the engagement. It's fantastic to see people are dreaming about holidays, and I'm definitely thinking of that Trans-Siberian. I would love to cover that off in an upcoming webinar, but in the meantime, do take care of yourselves, stay safe and healthy, and have a great day. Bye.